What is going on, nerds and nerdettes? It's your boy Stevie B, and yes, back up on my soapbox. You know I had to talk about it. I know everybody else has talked about it. I'm a little late to the party maybe, but I really wanted to wait and see how CGC responded to this controversy before I chimed in with my 2 cents. Now, let me preface this video by saying I'm not telling anyone how to collect, what to collect, whether to grade, whether not to grade. You collect your way, do what makes you happy, and live life. We all know that I'm CGC biased. We know that I don't care for grading companies. I don't use the grading companies. And this is going to be my opinion of what happened, coming from someone who's not, necessarily waving the CGC company flag. But I'm trying to be fair about it, and I'm just trying to present some facts and what I see from my perspective. So, what happened? In case you've been living under a rock and you haven't heard, I'll do a quick recap. Basically, shout out to 9.9 Newsstand. Go check out his channel. Obviously, if you want to see, how he broke down and how he discovered this scam that was going on. Great investigative work. My man, good job. And then you can also check out Swaggle Hoss. He does a good breakdown, and if you want some really good insight onto this situation, check out Keep It Thorough. He does a real good job, and I'm trying not to just mimic everything everyone else has said, but there'll be a lot of similarities in our breakdown of what happened. But so what did happen? So apparently a seller was caught. It was only one that was caught. Now, keep that in mind. What's basically going on is a individual will buy. Let's use New Mutants 98 for example. They'll buy New Mutants 98, CGC 9.8 in the slab. So they've got about a $1,500 investment right there, whatever, maybe a little more. I haven't checked the prices on it lately. But anyway, so they're going to spend that money, okay? But when they get the slab, they're going to bring it home, and then they'll go on eBay or whatever and wrangle up a lower grade raw copy of New Mutants 98 Mark Jewelers, which is a significantly, rarer book. But they will take the 98 New Mutants 98 non Mark Jewelers book, remove it from the encapsulation, and replace it with a lower grade New Mutants 98 with a Mark Jewelers insert. They will then send that slab back to CGC and say, hey, you guys missed the Mark Jewelers insert that's supposed to be in here. And this is where it gets sketchy. CGC apparently has made it a practice that when they reholder, they don't regrade, or they don't even check the book. They just, take for granted that it's in one of their cases, so it must be okay. So they just basically re-encapsulate, put the same label back on it with that 9.8, only they include, now it's a Mark Jewelers. So they went online and sourced out a lower grade, one that they think they could get away with. It's not obvious, and they paid about $500-600 maybe for a raw copy of this, and they've put it in the slab, and then they turn around and flip it for anywhere from $15,000 to, I seen one for $19,000. So it's a hell of a scam, because not only do they have that, now they've turned this this $500 book into a $15,000 book, but now they got another 9.8 non-marked jewelers. They can repeat the scam over and over, or they can take the 9.8 and have it resubmit it and have it reholstered or slabbed. And basically 9.9 discovered that, hold on a minute, this book has been assigned to another book. It's not the same book. And he discovered this, and he brought it to social media, and it blew up, and everybody jumped on board. So, like I said, shout out. Well, like I said, you want to get a better description of what happened, a better breakdown of it, check out 9.9 Newsstand's channel. Again, he does a good job on how it all went down and how he discovered all this. And then if you're wondering, well, how do they get it out of the case? Well, as it turns out, not as difficult as you might think. Matter of fact, there's a video on how to open the case and without showing evidence of tampering on YouTube. I'm not going to show it on here. The guy's intentions were good, and I understand that, but I just don't think it's a good idea to give an instructional video on how to run a scam. So I'm not going to show it, but it is out there. You can look it up and find it yourself. But anyway, I suspected, a long time ago that this was a possibility, that this kind of stuff was going to happen, and that's why I just don't trust them. I don't trust them. But I want to get in and break down CGC's response to this. Now, I was gonna download that, but anyway, CGC's basically responded by saying, we're aware of the problem, that an individual has tampered with our cases and made some fraudulent, done some fraudulent shit with them. And they said it was to the tune of a few hundred books. First of all, if one individual got away with a few hundred, which could be anywhere from 200 to 900 books, nobody knows. They didn't give an exact number. A few hundred. They're trying to make it sound like it's not as big a deal as it is. But if one individual has gotten away with it for a few hundred books, do you really think that he's the only one that's discovered how to do this? I really just don't think that's even logical to assume that. It's more than one. It's more than likely thousands of books rather than hundreds. It's got to be. But that's it's. I mean, common sense would dictate that one person is not the smartest guy and the only one that's figured out how to do this. I'm sure he showed other people how to do it. Hell, for all we know, he's got a how-to video. Who knows? But it's pretty safe to assume that he's not the only one, and that there's probably a lot more out there than there is. But they went on to say that they are going to. They've hired outside investigators and outside law team to deal with this situation, and they will pursue this person whose store has been taken down, obviously, but they're going to pursue this person to the full extent of the law, which is good. But they also said that that they will publish a list of all the books affected, which is not possible. It is not possible for them to publish a list of all the books that were affected by this, because they don't know. They have no way of knowing, and there's no way anybody else could know. So they can't do it. They can do some digging and try to find possible candidates, but there's no way they're going to know, and I'll explain why in a minute. But everybody's posted their responses. You can find it on Instagram. Just log into Instagram. If you're in the comic book community on Instagram, it's been every third post has been CGC's response to this. But the problem I have with it is they still haven't, everybody's, there's a lot of people on there saying, hey, good on them, they're taking responsibility. But they really haven't taken any responsibility. They just, basically, they got caught. Their lack of attention to detail in their grading system was exposed, and it was exposed extremely publicly. And very public. And so of course they have to make some kind of comment. They have to save face to try to do some damage control, to try to prevent lawsuits that may occur from this. So, and then the ones, and then there's the posts of the, way to go, CGC, way to step up and do your thing. And most of those posts are coming from people who have a significant collection of CGC graded books. So you do the math. There is a bias there as well. So I admit my bias. I don't like these companies. CGC is not exclusive to my dislike. I don't like any grading companies, but there is a bias as well on the other side, and it's the people who have invested tons of money into these CGC cases. Of course, they're going to go, see guys, look, they posted and everything's okay now. It's okay. they took care of the problem, but no, they didn't. They didn't even own up to their own mistake. They said, we will compensate anyone who who was affected by any mistake that we may have made. But they didn't come out and say, we dropped the ball, because those books should have never, ever gotten past graders. They clearly didn't take the time to look, even check the book, to even make sure it was the same book. They just opened it up and put it in a new case with a new label and sent it back. They didn't verify anything. They're drinking their own Kool-Aid. They think it's in their case. It's good. We shouldn't have to check it again. But unfortunately, that bit them in the ass. But their statement as to we're going to post a list, here's why they can't do that. Let me ask you something. Seriously, if you have a 9.8 New Mutants 98 newsstand copy with a Mark Jewelers insert in a case right now, hanging on your wall, do you really want to know if that's fake or not? Do you? No damn chance in hell. There's no chance in hell. That is what ignorance is bliss means. You know what? I'm going to take their word for it. I'm not cracking it up. You are not going to crack a $15,000 to $20,000 slab to satisfy your curiosity. You're not going to do it, because when you want to sell that thing, it's plausible deniability. And as long as that slab says, hey, that's what they say is in it, if that's not what's in it, it's on them, it's not on me. You're not going to crack that slab. You do not want to know if your book, your $15,000 book, is a victim of the scammer. You don't. And that's just it. I mean, there's no other way else to say it. Because here's your two options. You can accept it as it is, that it is what they say it is, or you can crack a 9.8 and check it. And if it's not what it says it is, and that's not a Mark Jewelers insert in there, then you just lost $15,000. And even if it is, then you've got to send it back and get it re-slabbed again. And you know what happens? Could happen. It could come back a 9.6 this time. It could get lost in the mail. Someone at CGC could drop it on the ground and run over it with the forklift. I mean, there's 100 different scenarios that could happen. They could screw that up. So, of course you're going to leave it in that slab. You are not going to take it out of that slab. But who's the people that are supporting CGC in this? Who's the people that are singing their praises on Instagram, saying, way to go, handling it like a boss? And it's the people that have invested all their money in the CGCs. Because if they admit that this is a serious problem and this changes the whole picture of professional grading, if they say that, then they have to put their own books in question, and nobody's going to do that. That's why. But how many books do you think there really are? We know one guy, a few hundred. I'm going to guess that there's thousands of them, and they're not. That, I mean, there's no way it's just one guy. But as far as their procedure to handle this, are they just going to go after this one guy and say, there, we did it? Or are they going to revisit the previous past submissions and see, hey, has this happened before, or is this an isolated incident, or do we need to go back and see what else we can investigate and find? I doubt it. This is a pacifier. This is a Band-Aid. They're going to take care of this guy that was essentially handed to him on a silver platter by 9.9 Newsstand. He did their job for him and discovered the chink in their armor and made it public and shined a light on them and put them in a position where they had to do something now. Because who knows how long it's been going on, and who knows if they knew about it already. But I don't see him digging. I don't see him digging through the past submissions. Question is can they be sued? That is the question. And I don't think they can. And the reason is because their guarantees on here's the biggest argument that people who slab their books give. I'd say it takes the guesswork out. If somebody says, hey, what condition is it in? You go, it's a 9.8. CGC says so. Then the conversation ends there. It takes the guesswork out of it. Well, as we can see, no, it doesn't. But can they be sued even though guarantee is in their name? Here is what their guarantee is. I will put it right here. You can read it for yourself. This is off their own site. Here's what it says. It said, due to the fragile nature of comic books, CGC does not offer a grading guarantee. Important to know. However, CGC does offer the following guarantee. A, CGC guarantees that 2 or more comic professionals will review every book submitted for grading. And B, CGC guarantees its holder to be free of defects. Defective holders will be replaced at no charge, except when it's determined at CGC's sole discretion that the holder was subjected to abuse, or if damage is the result of storage in a hazardous environment, not tampering. CGC guarantees that all books it certifies are authentic as described on the CGC grading label. So they guarantee 3 things. Yeah, they guarantee that 2 people are going to look at your book, and they guarantee that your case won't be broken, and they guarantee that if they say it's a New Mutants 98 on the label, then it's a New Mutants 98 in the case. That is it. That is their entire guarantee. 3 things. They says specifically they do not guarantee the grades. They don't guarantee them. Well, what are you paying them for then? If it's not a guaranteed, I mean, I could say it's a 9.8 too. I don't guarantee it, but it doesn't matter. So basically, any one of you can do the same thing CGC does for free. 2 people to look at your book, put it in a gator guard. There you go. Here you go. 2 people have looked at this, and we put it in a guard, and I'm going to put a label on it that says this is Iron Fist 14. And I guarantee you that all that's accurate. But then I say, it's a 9.8. You get it, and you go, no, it ain't. That ain't even a 7. Well, we don't guarantee our grades, you know. There's no such thing as a guaranteed grade. It just simply isn't. And but that is their guarantee. And as far as their cases go, they do not guarantee them to be tamper-proof or even tamper-resistant. Here's what they guarantee right here. It says CGC has a number of technologically advanced security measures built in to its holders to make them tamper evident. Apparently not. But once a comic is certified, any future attempt to open or tamper with the holder will be visibly evident. Okay, well, you just said that tampering should have been visibly evident. Then how did it get past you? How did hundreds of books from one person get past you, and probably thousands? So that claim to be tamper evident is either false or their people weren't paying any attention, which they weren't anyway. But can you trust them? Is there ever going to be a point where you can trust them? I don't know. That's up to the individual. Me, I never trusted them from the beginning, and this is exactly why. But I've always said, you know, you can't. Grading is subjective. I said, you can't send that thing to a factory full of thousands of people and have it looked over by 1 or 2 guys who might be in a good mood that day, might be in a bad mood that day, and guarantee a grade. So, can you trust them? I don't know. Why would you trust them? I mean, they've clearly demonstrated a negligence in their quality process. This whole scam here only shines a light on a bigger picture, because now no longer can you logically look at a graded book and take them at their word and not question them, because now there's always going to be questions. So what do you need them for now? What service do they provide now that benefits you as a collector other than inflating the prices? I mean, that is the only service that CGC delivers now, which this is going to hurt them a little, but the only thing I can see that CGC does that this case right here does not do is inflate value. Because you can no longer say it takes the guesswork out of the grading, that you can no longer say that with the CGC you know exactly what you're getting, and you can rest comfortably knowing that what you got, what they say is what you got. Can't say it anymore. So I don't know why anybody would use them, but some people like them. There's a lot of people that like them. I'm going to go out on a limb that says that will say that anybody that's invested a shit ton of money in graded books is going to dig their heels in, and they are going to back CGC to the hilt because money, and that's all it amounts to. I mean, I know Thorough over at Keep It Thorough. He and I see eye to eye on that. The only thing CGC brings to the collectors community is money. More money for flippers or sellers. And I'm not bagging on flippers or sellers, whatever. Do you. But it's an artificial value, I think, at this point. And this proves it. It is. They have now just proven that they're adding artificial value to a book, because everything that they say that they've convinced you that adds that value is now in question. So, what are you paying for? A pretty shiny case with the label on it. That's it. So what do you do? Does everybody run and jump ship to CBCS? I know CBCS is licking their chops because, after acetate gate at C2E2, which is another demonstration of their poor quality procedures. But we won't get into that anymore. But you go to CBCS, you go to the next number 2. If they can do it on CGC cases, they can most certainly do it on CBCS cases. I mean, it's not the company that's the problem, it's the process that's the problem. So it doesn't matter if you go to CBCS or PGX, who's already been, crucified, or whatever that other one, whatever economic and comics, Billy's EGS or whatever that one is. I don't. You can tell I don't pay attention to them. You run into the same problems. So what needs to happen? What needs to happen to start to build the trust back? Well, number one, you need your cases to be tamper-proof, which is everybody's like, well, that's a big expense. Not really. The sticker, I don't know, people may not know this, but the stickers they give you at the DMV, when you renew your tags to put on your license plate, those are specially designed stickers so that you can't peel them right back off. If you try, they're brittle and they break and they snap and crumble. You go here, 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 and you put one on every corner. That is tamper evident. If somebody tries to pry that seal's going to break. If they try to peel that seal off with a heat gun or anything else, it's gonna crumble. That's one solution. Another one that people have brought up over and over is to put that serial number not only on on the outside of the case on the label, but on the inside well as well, so that you can match those up. That's first and foremost what needs to happen. They need to work on that and their processes. A book should not come through CGC for any reason, whether it be reholdered, graded, pressed, whatever. If it goes into a CGC case with a label on it, it better be graded. It better be inspected again, re-inspected with the same, or with a clearly better diligence than what they've shown so far. That needs to happen. Secondly, what needs to happen is this guy that they've caught, they need to make an example out of him. They need to nail him to the wall and send a message that this will not be tolerated. And they may do that. And I know a lot of people outside the comic book community might go, that's a little harsh, don't you think? But if you don't set an example, a set of precedents, then you're going to get repeat offenders. But they need to make an example of him. They need to make it very, very public what they do. They need to post arrest reports. The police reports, charges, follow the trial, follow the whole thing all the way up to conviction, and let people know exactly what happened. But that's a must, I think. So what do you do? What do you do from here? Look, I know I sound like a walking billboard for Gator Guards. I'm not. They don't pay me. They don't give me free merchandise. They don't do anything. It's just a product that I happen to like. There are others out there. There's Crafty Comics, who makes a similar case to this. I just did a review of a comic capsules. I don't have it in here with me, but it's a great product. If if these are a little out of budget for you, which I understand, these little comic capsules are essentially high-end top loaders with a hard shell face and a flip top close. Those are great. So if you just want to protect your investment, those are great options. Personally, I think the best option is to buy raw. Here's the thing: if you were to buy that New Mutants '98 Mark Jewelers, if you had bought it raw and submitted it yourself, if you're into slabbing and you just have to have that graded book, you submit it yourself, and you already know what's in there. Buy raw. Don't buy slabbed books. That's a simple solution. Don't buy them slabbed. Buy them raw. Grade them yourself. That is the best way to keep yourself from being scammed. The only way. And even then, there is that possibility that your book could get switched at CGC. Highly more unlikely than what's been going on now. So that would be the best advice I could give, is to buy raw, slab them yourself. I like to keep them raw. That's my thing. But once again, I'm not gatekeeping. There's some of my really, really good friends swear by CGC, love the graded books, and they'll keep giving them out. Which leads me to what happens to CGC from here. I see all the posts. The end of CGC. CGC is going down. CGC burns to the ground. And this is the last. Their CGC is sinking. Going out. No, they're not. They're not gonna. This isn't gonna affect them financially in any substantial way whatsoever. And will they lose some customers? Yeah, I probably lose quite a few customers. But in the grand scheme of things, it's like taking a cup of water out of a swimming pool. Yeah, you lost a cup of water, but you ain't hurting. They're not going to hurt. They're not going to go out of business, because as long as people can still send their $20 book in and turn it into a $200 book by having it in that pretty case with a non-guaranteed grade on it, they're going to do it. Anything that generates income and money for someone else is not going to go away. It's not going to go away. So don't worry if you're a CGC lover and stuff. Odds are nobody's probably going to have any grounds for a lawsuit. How they're going to reimburse people that were affected by their screw up, probably We'll give you a couple free gradings. That's probably it. Even though, I know you spent $15,000 on a bogus book and that it got past our inspectors. But hey, here's a free grading on us. That's probably I imagine that won't be made public. But anyway, I've rambled on long enough. This is a topic that's been covered to death, and I know I don't know if I added any insight to it that hasn't already been shared. But bottom line is there's no such thing as a guaranteed grade. There isn't. I don't care who it goes to, which grading company it goes to. There is no such thing as a guarantee when it comes to grading. So I could tell you, me telling you this is a 9.8 book holds just as much weight as any professional grading company telling you the same thing. It don't mean squat. I don't guarantee it. Neither do they. So you're paying for a case and a label. They don't guarantee anything. You read it on their own website. So that's it. Is this the end of CGC? No, it isn't. Does it hurt their pride a little bit? Yeah. The positive side of this spin for all you graded comic book lovers out there is that this will force them to take a second look at their procedures, and it will make it very difficult for anyone to pull a scam like this again. Never say impossible, because it's always possible, but I imagine they will probably redesign their holders or put some added safety features on there, or tamper protection. So there you go. But the only way you're going to know if it's real or not is to crack it and look at it. And nobody wants to know. I guarantee you, nobody wants to know that their $15,000 book is fake. $15,000 book is fraudulent. That being said, again, still collect what you like, collect how you like. Just do your due diligence. Just because a company adds some value to it doesn't necessarily mean they're a good company. Remember they got backed into a corner where they had no choice. But very good saying, and very one that I like is that being ethical means doing things doing the right thing when nobody's watching. If this would have been an in-house discovery, would they have gone public with it? No, they went public. They went public and made a statement because basically they got caught. They got caught. Somebody exposed them for a weakness in their armor, and they got caught. So, like I said, integrity, doing the right thing, even when nobody's looking. That's what they need to do. But anyway, again, collect your way. To quote Two Brothers, I love that expression. Do you have fun with the hobby? Don't let this discourage you from the hobby. There are many facets to this hobby, not just graded comics that you can still enjoy. Take your books out and read them. There you go. Don't put them in plastic jail. That's going to do it for this one. Let me know in the comments what you think. I'm happy to hear any agreement, disagreement. Doesn't matter. It's what we're here for. Open dialogue, right? I never claim to always be right. Just my opinion. But that's going to do it. Y'all have a good one. Happy New Year to everybody. Be safe. Don't do stupid shit like drink and drive, because it ain't your life you're taking into your hands. It's somebody else's as well. We'll see you next year. Peace.